What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfella, back with the Boxing Clinic one time for the one time. Back doing this YTBC thing. Lucas Matthysse stopped Emmanuel Taylor last night. I think it was in 5 rounds. Good introduction back to the sport. He didn't look gun-shy or anything like that. I did a reaction video to the Canelo Chavez Jr. card to get more input on how Matthysse looked from my point of view. You can check that video out. But like last night, for a quick overview, Matthysse didn't look gun-shy. He looked fresh. And one of the commentators on Box Nation pointed out that, he's not really a physical welterweight yet. He just put on some weight in the midsection. He physically has to really continue to get better fitness into growing into that role as a welterweight. And I agree. He looked kind of chubby. He looked a little bit too small. He just got to get a nutritionist and a physical trainer, that can help him put that weight where it needs to be, which should be in the legs, basically in the legs and probably a little bit of muscle in the core. He looked a little chubby, but that's here nor there. I think the perfect fight for him would be Adrien Broner at 147, but Joel Diaz, the former trainer of Tim Bradley, that's the most famous fighter he's known as for training. He trains Lucas Matthysse now, as if you watched the fight yesterday, as everybody's seen. Said that he wants Matthysse to get back down to 140 and compete at that weight. That's something that him or Matthysse and Diaz has to get together and make the plan on doing. I think that'll be a wise move. 140 is wide open. Other than Terrence Crawford dominated division, there's really no second tier fighter that's stone cold dangerous there. You got Francis Bartholomew that can give Matthysse some problems. And Terrence Crawford, other than that, I can see him beating any and everybody else at that division as well, including he has a shot at beating Francis Bartholomew, and he has a puncher's chance at beating Terrence Crawford. That's if he gets past his Felix Diaz, as most people think he would. But as far as, if he stays at 147, who would be good fights? Like I said, I'll speak on Adrien Broner in a minute. That'll be the perfect fight. I don't think Lamont Peterson will give him a rematch. I don't think he's ready for Earl Spence, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, or Kell Brook, the 4 elites, or Manny Pacquiao at this point either. But I think he's ready for a Tim Bradley. I think he's ready for Broner, as I said. I think he's ready for a Jesse Vargas. Those guys of that nature. David Alvarez, that'd be a good fight. I think Saddam Ali is trying to get his feet wet still after losing to Jesse Vargas. But as far as the Broner fight, I think it makes perfect sense. From Matthysse, Broner has called him on the past that he doesn't, mind beating Argentina to get revenge because Marcos Maidana beat that ass. And, style-wise, it'll work for Matthysse. I think Matthysse pressure, and he's still throwing punches. He's not gun-shy. He still carries some power and some pop-up to 147, which is Broner is not a big puncher at, and he's really not a physically big 147. He seems a little small and lacking a little power and a little bit of luster at that weight class as well. So it meshes for a perfect, combination and a perfect storm in a fight. And, Matthysse is a boxer which, a lot of casual fans can identify with after the Danny Garcia fight. I think Adrien Broner, of course, everybody knows him. He might be the most popular American fighter in the USA that's still active. And it'll mesh for a good fight. He's looking to come back in the summer as well. Adrien Broner, he said it. But, why not push the day back to the fall and make the Matthysse fight happen? It makes sense. I understand it's not for a world title, but, it makes sense. I heard Broner say he's trying to squeeze down to 135. I can't believe it. I think those days are done with. I don't think he can make 140. I heard he's hovering about 149, 147 right now to make 140. He said the Terrence Crawford fight versus him should be pay-per-view. But at the end of the day, if he stays at 147, which I really just don't believe he can make 140 anymore, why not fight Lucas Matthysse? I don't know, people are like, what about Matthysse-Danny rematch? I don't see Danny taking that fight. It's not a must at all. But Matthysse and Amir Khan is a great fight as well. That fight that can materialize and articulate. I don't know if Khan's going to take that fight right away after being knocked out by Canelo, and he's going to go against another power puncher as Lucas Matthysse, but he can't outbox him. He outboxed Marcos Maidana, even though that was a different version of Maidana at 140 and 147. So, Amir Khan versus Lucas Matthysse makes sense as well. But I like the Broner match, the trash talk. I like the fight for Matthysse. versus Broner. And I like to fight Matthysse versus Amir Khan or Tim Bradley as well. It all makes sense. Let's see where his career goes from here. If it's at 147 or 140, we're going.